If you are studying the IGNOU MSCFSQM, the Master of Science in Food Safety and Quality Management, you have seen three project codes: MVPP-002, MVPP-003 (M.Sc), and MVPP-004. And almost every website tells you the same wrong thing about them. In the next 25 minutes, I will fix that completely, using the official School of Agriculture program guide. I am BK Sani, founder of IGNOUproject.com, guiding IGNOU students since 2010. Here is the direct answer, and we will prove every word of it. MVPP-003 is Project Work 1, 8 credits, first year, or a practical field study inside a real food establishment. MVPP-002 is the dissertation, 16 credits, second year, on an emerging food safety issue. And MVPP-004 is Project Work 2, 4 credits, second year, and it exists only for PGDFSQM lateral entry students. 3 separate courses, not 3 stages of one project. Here is our map, the 2 student routes, the synopsis from draft to approval, the report and its compulsory enclosures, and the official marking rubric that most MSCFSQM students have never read. Quick program facts because the project only makes sense inside the structure. The IGNOU MSCFSQM runs under the School of Agriculture, 72 credits, split 36 in each year, across 15 courses. The fee on the official IGNOU page is 26,400 rupees, paid year by year, minimum 2 years, maximum 4, English only, and not offered to international students, and it is modular. Exit after year 1 with the PGDFSQM diploma, or enter directly into year 2 if you already hold it. Here is the full course map. Year 1 gives you food fundamentals and chemistry, food microbiology, food laws and standards, principles of food safety and quality management, food safety and quality management systems, and 2 practical courses, auditing and chemical analysis. Year 1 then closes with MVPP-003. Year 2 gives you food toxicology, food biotechnology, emerging trends, a 3-credit MOOC on SWAYAM, research methodology, the 1-credit seminar, and the 16-credit dissertation. Notice research methodology sits right beside the dissertation. That is your toolkit course. Before anything else, the correction that changes everything. Myth number 1, and it is everywhere, that MVPP-002, 003, and 004 are 3 progressive stages of one project. Some sites even say 002 is the proposal, 003 is the field work, and 004 is the report. That is not what the program guide says. It lists them as 3 separate courses, each carrying 100 marks, each evaluated independently. And no MSCFSQM student ever does all 3. You do exactly 2, and which 2 depends on how you entered. Look at the 2 routes side by side. A direct entry student does MVPP-003 in year 1 and 002 in year 2. You never register for 004. 72 credits, 1,500 marks. A lateral entry student who already holds the PGDFSQM skips year 1, does the dissertation, and additionally does MVPP-004 as a top-up. That makes 1,600 marks. So decide which column you are in before you read another guideline. Why does MVPP-004 exist at all? It is only for lateral entrants who completed a 32-credit PGDFSQM, but the current first year of the MSCFSQM is 36 credits. That is a gap of exactly 4 credits, and 004 is worth exactly 4. It is a credit balancing course, not a second dissertation. And note this, the current PGDFSQM already carries the full 8-credit MVPP-003. If that is your diploma, confirm with your regional center whether 004 applies at all. Lock the numbers down. MVPP-003, 8 credits. 002, 16. 004, 4. Each is marked out of 100, and each needs 40 marks to pass, individually and on aggregate. The guide also converts credits into study hours. MVPP-003 is 240 hours, spread over roughly 30 working days. 004 is 120 hours, about 15 days. Plan against those numbers because most students badly underestimate fieldwork. First, Project Work 1. Let us go deep on MVPP-003, the one most students face first. The official objective is to develop your capability for a comprehensive analysis of the implementation of good hygienic practices, HACCP, a quality management system, or a food safety management system inside a food establishment, and to investigate systematically. Read that twice. The verb is analyze implementation, not describe theory. Every marking decision flows from that one sentence. Where can you do it? The guide names 4 settings: food manufacturing or processing, and it explicitly allows both organized and unorganized units. Hospitality, covering hotels, restaurants, canteens, and institutional kitchens, retail, including chains and supermarkets, and street food vendors and hawkers, which surprises people, but it is right there in the official topic list. Choose a setting you can physically enter and enter more than once. The guide gives 3 permitted project types. 1. A comprehensive case study where you formulate a problem inside one establishment, analyze it, and recommend fixes. 2. A comparison or validation study across units. 3. A field study built on primary data you collect yourself. And then a constraint I wish more students respected. The project should be challenging but manageable within your resources and time. Ambition you cannot finish is a lost session. Myth number 3, and it costs entire sessions. That you can submit a good literature review. You cannot. The program guide states it twice, in 2 different sections. The project should not be a theory or literature-based exercise. It must be practice-oriented. So here is the test. If your draft synopsis does not name a field site, a sample, and a plan for collecting primary data, it is at real risk of non-approval. The guide publishes 25 suggestive topics, and they are useful as direction. Good hygienic practices of street food hawkers with a stated minimum of 4 hawkers in one location. Good manufacturing practices across organized and unorganized units. Training modules on GMP and GHP. CCP identification, monitoring and corrective action under ISO 22000, labeling compliance for domestic and imported food, hygiene at raw material suppliers' premises, packaging suitability, pest and waste management, traceability and recall, shelf life claims, and allergen control. And myth number 4, hiding in plain sight. Almost every guidance website tells M.Sc FSQM students to pick a topic from that official list of 25. The program guide says the opposite. In plain words, it advises that students select their topics outside this list. Think about why. If 400 students all submit study of pest management in a food establishment, no evaluator can tell them apart. So use the 25 as themes, not titles. Then narrow. Your establishment, your city, your sample. 4 tests every topic must pass. 1. Access. Can you physically enter that establishment and go back a second and third time? 2. Primary data. Can you collect real observations, audit findings, or survey responses yourself? 3. Microscope. The guide advises you to identify a micro topic so you finish on time and within budget. 4. Supervisor fit, because the guide asks supervisors to stay inside their core specialization. Let me make this concrete with one example we will carry to the end. Assessment of good hygienic practices. Among street food vendors in the Sector 17 market area of Chandigarh, and a corrective action plan based on Schedule 4 of the FSS regulations. Look at what that title does. It names a practice. It names a population. It draws a boundary, one market area in one city. And it names the standard you will measure against. Why does it work? It is practice-oriented, an observation and checklist audit rather than reading. It borrows the official theme, but the topic is your own, and therefore outside the list. The scope is genuinely micro. It ends in a corrective action plan, and the guide asks your report to name the people who are to perform the actions. And it is measurable against a published standard. Do not copy this title. Copy its shape. Next, your supervisor. Your supervisor and IGNOU is specific about who qualifies. 1. Faculty at IGNOU headquarters in the School of Agriculture. 2. Academic counselors of this program with relevant experience. 3. A teacher in agriculture with 5 years of postgraduate teaching experience in a related discipline such as food processing or food analysis. 4. A professional holding a master's in food technology or an allied discipline with minimum 5 years of relevant experience. And 5. In exceptional cases only, a BE degree holder with 5 years of experience. 2 rules students get wrong. First, you pay your supervisor nothing. IGNOU pays a token honorarium as per university norms, and a formal remuneration bill is printed in the guide for exactly that purpose. Second, the biodata is not optional. A complete signed biodata must accompany your proposal, even if your supervisor is already an IGNOU counselor. Proposals without it are not entertained, and one supervisor cannot guide more than 6 students at a time. Myth number 5, which almost nobody separates correctly. For MVPP-003 and 004, you find your own supervisor and send their signed biodata to the regional center. But for the dissertation, the guide uses different language. It says the dissertation shall be carried out under a supervisor appointed to each learner by the program in charge at the program study center, or approved by the program coordinator, School of Agriculture. Appointed, not selected by you. 2 different mechanisms inside the same program. Ask your program study center first. Next, the synopsis and how it gets approved. The synopsis and its length surprises people. Around 500 words. 6 elements must be inside. A clear statement of the topic. A statement of objectives. Your hypothesis or a set of research questions instead. The methodology, including tools and techniques. The population and sample size if there is field work. And the implications for food safety and quality management. The guide also suggests relevant literature and a time schedule of activities. One detail deserves its own slide. Objectives. The guide is explicit. Limit them to 4 or 5 because a large number will be difficult to achieve in the time available, and they must be achievable and measurable, which rules out an objective like to study food safety. For our street food example, 4 objectives write themselves. Audit compliance among a defined vendor sample. Score it against Schedule 4. Identify the highest frequency gaps, and propose a corrective action plan. Now the envelope, where a lot of proposals die. 3 documents go together to your regional center. The proforma for approval of project proposal, signed by both you and your supervisor, the detailed biodata of the supervisor, signed by them, and the synopsis itself. Write MVPP-003 or 004 prominently on the envelope. Send 1 copy only and keep a copy for yourself. So what comes back? The synopsis goes to your regional center only, not to headquarters. The regional center allots a project synopsis number and informs you about approval. Quote that number in every later communication. 2 pieces of genuinely good news. Project synopses can be submitted throughout the year, so there is no narrow window. And you receive a written communication of approval or non-approval, so you are not left guessing. Inquiries go to your regional director. And if it comes back, the evaluator's comments for reformulating it are sent to you. Here is the part nobody reads. Your revised submission must include the revised pro forma, the new synopsis, and a copy of the rejected synopsis and pro forma carrying those comments and the old project synopsis number. So do not throw the rejection away. And if you change your supervisor for any reason, the guide treats it as a completely new proposal. Next, the report itself. The report. Follow the guide's own outline rather than inventing your own. 1. Introduction. What prompted the topic and why it matters. 2. Objectives. 3. Review of literature. 4. Methodology. Split into design, sampling, tools and techniques, and data processing. 5. Analyses and findings. 6. Suggestions and action lines, naming who performs them. 7. Conclusions. 8. Bibliography and appendices. And 9. The approved project proposal itself. Length and another quiet correction. Third-party sites apply one-page count to everything. The guide gives 2 figures. MVPP-003 is about 80 to 100 double-spaced typed pages. 004 is 50 to 60. Both exclude appendices and exhibits and both allow 10% variation. A4 size, double-spaced, bound. Notice the logic. Half the credits, roughly half the pages. Before you bind it, check 4 things are inside. In original. The approved project proposal pro forma. The approved synopsis with the biodata of your guide. A certificate of originality signed by both you and your supervisor. And your project synopsis number, so the report matches its approval. The guide is blunt. If a report arrives without these, it will be returned to the student for compliance. One style instruction is written into the marking criteria, so treat it as a rule. Write in an academic style, predominantly third person. So not, I visited 4 vendors, but 4 vendors were observed across 3 visits. The same criterion asks for aesthetic presentation of tables and diagrams, which means your tables carry real marks. For universal page setup and referencing, watch our IGNOU project format guide, linked below. Next, submission and deadlines. Submission, and this is where the internet is most confidently wrong. The MSCFSQM program guide routes your project report to the regional director of your own regional center. One typed copy, A4, double-spaced, bound by registered insured post, with the envelope marked Project Report MVPP-003 or 004. Several popular websites give the Student Evaluation Division address at headquarters for these codes. For this program, that is not what the guide says. But I have to be honest about something genuinely in flux. The program guide describes a postal submission. Meanwhile, IGNOU now also runs a central online project submission portal, opened separately for each term-end examination session, where the complete report is uploaded as a single PDF. Both instructions are circulating. So, before you post anything, check the current session notification on the official IGNOU website and confirm with your regional center which mode applies. One thing is constant: reports sent by email are never accepted. The timing rule. A report submitted after the 30th of November and up to the 31st of May counts for the June term-end examination. After the 31st of May and up to the 30th of November, it counts for December. So the report can go in at any time of year. The date decides which results cycle it lands in. There is also a project evaluation fee, paid with your examination form. Up to 4 credits, 300 rupees. Above 4 credits, 500. Myth number 6. The one that hurts. Students assume they can ask for the report back, or apply for re-evaluation if the marks disappoint. Neither is true. The guide states plainly that the project report will not be returned, and advises you to keep a copy. And reevaluation is not permissible for projects, practicals, assignments, or seminars. Early declaration of result is also unavailable for project-based courses. So the copy you submit is your only shot. Proofread it as if you will never see it again. And now the 16-credit dissertation. Now the big one. MVPP-002, the dissertation. 16 credits, the single largest course in the entire MSCFSQM, worth more than 4 theory courses put together. And yet it is still marked out of 100. Its stated aim is to develop your capability for addressing any emerging issue in food safety and quality management, to investigate systematically, to critically analyze a research problem, and to prepare the research report. You are no longer restricted to implementation in one establishment. Where can the dissertation be carried out? The guide names 3 venues: your study center or program study center, a food testing laboratory, ideal if your work is analytical, or a food industry or establishment, which can include your own workplace. My advice for analytical topics: choose the venue before you finalize the topic. Laboratory dissertations do not fail on ideas. They fail because lab access was arranged 3 months too late. And here is a detail that should change how you research this. Chapter 7 of the program guide covers MVPP-003 and 004 only. For the dissertation, it points you to a separate dissertation manual for MVPP-002 with its own structure, format, and submission instructions. That manual is not floating freely on the open web, which is exactly why so many websites reuse the project rules and call them dissertation rules. Request it from your program study center or regional center. A dissertation scale example so you can feel the difference. Occurrence of aflatoxin M1 in loose milk, sold through small retail outlets in 2 districts of Punjab. A risk-based assessment and control framework. Compare that to our street food title. The scope is wider, 2 districts instead of 1 market. There is a laboratory component, so the venue matters. And it addresses an emerging public health issue rather than one establishment's housekeeping. That is the shape of a 16-credit dissertation. One more thing students merge by mistake. MVPS-001, the seminar. A separate 1-credit course in Year 2, marked out of 100, evaluated purely on your oral presentation at the study center. It is the program's oral component, but it is not the Viva of your dissertation. On Viva, the MSCFSQM mark scheme puts 100% of the weight on the report itself. Some regional centers still arrange an oral, so confirm with yours. Finally, how all of this is actually marked. The official evaluation criteria, and I would pin this slide to your desk. They apply identically to MVPP-003, 004, and the dissertation. 25% for task definition and approach, meaning precise objectives with a rationale tied to academic literature, plus a justified methodology. 50%, half your marks for literature review, findings, and evaluation, covering your conceptual framework, analysis, synthesis, conclusions, and your ability to take a position and defend it with data. And 25% for communication of ideas and presentation. So how do you convert that rubric into marks? 4 moves. First, open with objectives that state the rationale, not just the aim. Second, make every finding answer a stated objective, 1 by 1, in the same order. That single discipline protects the 50% band. Third, add a synthesis section comparing your findings against the literature rather than merely reporting them. And fourth, end with recommendations that name who acts, plus honest limitations and directions for further research. Passing. You need a minimum of 40% in all components of a course, individually and on aggregate. So 40 marks out of 100 on your project report, and no amount of strong theory marks can rescue a failed project. Certification runs on a 5-point scale. Grade D is a pass. Grade C is second division. Grade B is first division. And Grade A at 80% and above is first division with distinction. Here are the failures I see most often. Biodata missing or unsigned. The proforma not signed by both parties. A theory-based proposal with no field site. A topic copied straight from the official 25. A report bound without the approved proforma or synopsis. A certificate of originality missing one signature. Work started before approval. A supervisor changed without a fresh proposal. Everyone is preventable. And everyone costs you an evaluation cycle. Is the MSCFSQM project actually worth the effort? IGNOU's own official page lists the outcomes this program targets. Food Safety Team Leader in Industry and Hospitality. Food Safety Officer in Regulatory Bodies. Auditor and Certification and Inspection Bodies. Trainer or Counselor. Supply Chain Team Member. And self-employment as a certifying professional or auditor. Almost every role on that list is an audit role. Your project is the one part of the degree that proves you have stood on a real food floor and produced an audit-grade finding. Outcomes depend on your experience, sector, and location. So treat this as guidance, not a placement promise. So use it properly. Name the standard you audited against, whether Schedule 4, ISO 22000, or ISO 22005. Quantify your sample, how many units, visits, and observations. Lead with the gap you found, not the theory you read. Present your corrective action plan as a deliverable. Keep your checklists and photographs as an evidence portfolio. And name one methodological choice you would now change. Because that is what maturity sounds like. Let us finish with the questions students actually ask. Do I have to do all three, 002, 003, and 004? No. Direct entry students do 003 and 002. Lateral entry PGDFSQM students do 002 and 004. Nobody does all three. Where do I send my synopsis? To your own IGNOU regional center with the signed proforma and your supervisor's signed biodata. The regional center issues your project synopsis number. How long should the MVPP-003 report be? About 80 to 100 double-space typed pages, excluding appendices, with 10% variation allowed. MVPP-004 is 50 to 60 pages. Can I start writing before my synopsis is approved? You should not. Approval is your green light. And anything you build on an unapproved proposal can be wasted if the evaluator asks you to reformulate the topic. Is there a separate guideline document for the dissertation? Yes. The program guide covers 003 and 004, and then directs you to a separate dissertation manual for MVPP-002. Request it from your program study center or regional center. And what is the pass mark? 40 marks out of 100, required individually and on aggregate. Remember that re-evaluation is not permitted for project-based courses, so there is no second look at those marks. Here is your action plan. Confirm your route. Pick a micro-topic outside the official 25, in a site you can actually enter. Approach an eligible supervisor and get their signed biodata. Write the 500-word synopsis with 4 to 5 measurable objectives. Send the proforma, biodata, and synopsis to your regional center, and start fieldwork only after your project synopsis number and approval arrive. 2 honest reminders. Fees, project evaluation charges, and session deadlines do change, so always confirm them on the official IGNOU website and the Samath portal. And for anything specific to your case, supervisor approval, submission mode, or whether MVPP-004 applies to you, your regional center is the deciding authority, not any website, including ours. We are an independent guidance platform. Shri Chakradhar education is not IGNOU. If you want to go deeper on any single stage, we have dedicated guides. Our IGNOU synopsis guide walks through the proposal section by section. Our project format guide covers page setup and referencing. Our project submission guide covers deadlines and enclosure checklists. And our project guide and supervisor video covers eligibility and approval in depth. All 4 links are in the description. That is the complete picture of the IGNOU MSCFSQM project and dissertation MVPP-002, 003 and 004, built from the official School of Agriculture program guide. If this saved you a session, please subscribe, because we publish one of these for every IGNOU program. Free guides are on ignouproject.com. And for personalized guidance, message us on WhatsApp at +9 1 93546 37830. This has been BK Sani, founder of ignouproject.com, guiding IGNOU students since 2010. Good luck with your project.